Hey there, my name is Russ. That is Lauren. Welcome to our Sunday vinyl video. And it seems like we've kind of had an endless stream of these, which is, I guess, or a good problem to have. But we are doing another video of a free album that we received from a viewer on the channel. And I'm not even a little bit mad at it. This one here was one that we received as a gift for all the way back earlier this year when I had my 50th birthday, which was pretty awesome. And there was a viewer of the channel who sent us a string of records. We reviewed at least 4 or 5 that we got for free on the channel. One of them we won for a contest. There was a gentleman who flew down here to Jacksonville to hang out with us and brought a record with him. And then we have a viewer of the channel from overseas who was gracious enough to send us several albums. And I think this rounds them out. I may look at the list of stuff we have to review and be like, by George, there's another one. But by Paul, we have this one here. I did that totally by accident just
That's
now.
fun.
This is a record that I was completely unfamiliar with prior to it showing up in the mail. I've never heard it previously, like ever. I don't even think I'd ever even heard a song off of this album prior. And you and I have talked about this many times. I don't have anything against any Beatle really, except for Wonderful Christmas Time. Like stop it. Like I just no. But we keep things positive on the channel. Other than that, I don't think I have anything. I don't think there's a single song or anything by a Beatle that I've ever heard that I've ever like the Dark Horse is far and away my favorite Beatle. But I don't think there's ever even been a Beatles song or a solo Beatles song that I've ever been like, ugh, I don't like that, other than the aforementioned Christmas Time. And Happy Christmas too, for that matter. Get out of here. So other than like when Band on the Run comes on the radio or, see, I'm even failing. I can't even think of other Wings songs. I've just never been a Wings guy. And it's a thing where people have always, people love Wings. There's Wings Over America. People love that live record. Like, right. Yeah. Well, then what if you go, do a tour, but like people love Wings and it's one of those things where I've never been against them ever. I've always been the type of person that when I hear a thing, I will go seek out more of it based on the one thing. And I don't think I've ever owned like a Wings, even hits package or anything that's made me be like quick origin story on Pink Floyd is that the very first thing I ever bought was the live album, The Delicate Sound of Thunder. And I'm certain it was done this way on purpose, but the track listing on that made me be like, oh, well, I love this song one of these days. So I went back and I got Metal. This obviously Grandpa's from before streaming and whatnot, so I couldn't just go stream Metal. So I went and bought Metal and then listened to that. And I love that. And I was like, oh, well, I love that. So let me find out about this album with Shine On You Crazy Diamond on it, but I never owned anything by Wings that made me be like, oh, well, I should go listen to this entire record. Right. So having said that, this is the first thing I've ever owned, solo of Paul's that I can think of. And I know it's a different band than, but if it's not a Beatle, if it's not a Beatles record, to me, it's like Paul outside the Beatles is Paul being solo. So just some background on this. And I'm guessing at some point I had mentioned on the channel that I had never even heard a Wings record or something along those lines. And that's how we got here. So one thing I want to talk about is we were graciously given the Abbey Road half-speed master of it. And when you get into packaging, I've talked before on the channel, it's so funny for me because I think mostly when you talk about used records, like when you and I have been at record fairs or record stores, I care so much more about the condition of the media itself when it comes to used records. The big phrase I say all the time is you don't play the cover. For me, that comes into play when you find if you were find an original pressing of this and the record itself is in pristine condition and the guy who owned it put it in an anti-static inner sleeve in like whenever this came out, 74 or 73, something. I'm just taking a guess, whenever this came out, put it in the record's just pristine, but then like the cover's just beat to hell and it's even got water damage and all that. Like there are people who will absolutely pass on that. And I'm like, but why though? Like, why do you don't play the cover? Right. Having said that, if you're going to pay what records are worth now, like what they ask for now, like as far as I'm concerned, like I would like all of the presentation. I would like Paul to come here and show it to me if possible. Right. And, that's why I'm a big fan. Like for me, Mobile Fidelity and Analog Productions and those things, like there's a reverence to the way that they package their records, and the Abbey Road half speed masters. It's like, there's like 40 things that are inside the gatefold with this thing. There's the, and I always put pictures up of everything, but there's the actual gatefold cover is super thick cardboard. Then you have, the inners, and then you have the, comes with stickers, which again, I've never owned this record before. I'm assuming it came with stickers originally. Like when you get reprints of The Dark Side of the Moon, it always comes with the 2 posters and the stickers and whatnot and the postcards and all that stuff. But one thing I like too is there's an OBI strip, which was always a Japanese thing, but I've always thought was cool. So anytime I get a record with an OBI strip, I just think that's cool. But then these Abbey Road ones always come with, and I don't care if it's BS or not. Like I'm sure someone's going to write a comment and be like, well, actually it doesn't matter. Save the actually, like, I don't care. I like getting that letter that's like, here's all the thing that went into the mastering and whatever else, I just, that type of stuff, like I've told you before, I just think there's so much reverence to it. There's so much more to playing that music than just going on streaming and clicking on a song.
Yeah.
And so the packaging on this is masterful. Like, it's just like the way to own this record is this way. And it's funny because it's an album I never would have purchased on my own, but like now it's like, I'm certain any Wings fan that come in the house will be like, oh, that's the best version ever. I'm going to be like,
yeah.
Having said that, sound wise, what's interesting is usually I'm the guy who says to Lauren, like, have you never heard this on vinyl before? Or have you never heard an original pressing? Neither of us have ever heard this album on vinyl before, ever. Original or not. I didn't ask you this ahead of time. Like I'd never, like I said, I don't think I've ever even heard a song off of this album. And for anybody that's like, oh yes, you have. No, I really don't. Like I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm not saying it for the clicks. I'm not saying it to make anybody mad. I'm not like,
I'm not saying it for any more free records.
Yeah. Please don't continue to send free records as thankful as we are. But you've probably heard songs off of this, but it doesn't strike me as an album you probably would have heard the whole thing of.
Oh, I'm sure I've heard good chunks of it. I had a Wings phase, and it wasn't even because of Paul. It was because of Denny Lane.
Mm-hmm.
So,
she's into Denny Lane.
And Linder and that beautiful shag haircut of hers at the time.
I love Linder.
Yeah. But no.
Which, by the way, in the 90s, it was like a big thing for shock jocks to like play the isolated tracks of Linda. Oh, and isn't it hilarious? No, it's not hilarious. Linda's awesome.
Yep.
Or was, unfortunately, but go on.
So I personally, I was a big London Town fan. If we're talking about Wings albums that I would like, I really, really enjoy.
Please don't send it.
No. I like that album a lot, but yeah, I'd heard the majority of this, but like obviously never on vinyl. And a lot of the tracks on this are actually on the Wings, Paul McCartney's Wingspan Greatest Hits.
I like that you keep doing it.
I keep doing it because that's the cover of it. Yeah. So I've heard a lot.
If you add this, it's Van Halen.
That's true.
No. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, so you knew like some of it was, I don't want to say vague, but like I bet there was more in a few songs that you were like, oh, I know this. Yeah, that type of thing. Where it was like all brand new to me, And I will say this, I think I told you this before we fired it up, that there wasn't anything on it that I was like, Paul, because there's a lot of songs, this, like we're listening to Casey Kasem and whatnot. There's a lot of stuff that comes on where I'm like, Paul.
So my thing with that, and like that's absolutely a valid point. That's why I like Wings better than Paul, if that makes sense.
Well, there's probably a certain amount. I mean, it's Paul's band, but there's probably a certain amount of control there.
Yeah, and like there's
by control, I mean someone going.
There's more.
Stop that.
Yep, there's more balances. I think
not as much as John had for obvious reasons, but
yeah. No, because I think there's a whimsy and a fun to Wings.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, that I
you said it's Paul McCartney's band. You said.
Yeah, a little bit of whimsy and a little bit of fun.
A little bit of whimsy and fun,
it's at the rock show.
Well, then, if you don't have fun, then what have you got?
Nothing.
This is probably so offensive to the person that bought us this record. And it's not even a good impression. It's a poor impression of Dana Carvey doing a poor impression of Paul McCartney. Yeah. So, anyways,
but no, we had and here's the thing: we had fun with it. We put it on while we were making dinner, and I was absolutely like bopping along into this whole thing because this is a fun album. Like if you're looking to like listen to Paul and have some fun, it is fun. You know, Venus and Mars, and you've got the whole rock show situation, and like a lot of it does. He gives you that feeling of being like at a rock show without it like. It doesn't do like the Benny and the Jets thing with the crowd or anything like that, but it's
funny because when that started, because how close to my heart the Wall is, I literally in my brain was like, don't compare it to the Wall, don't compare it to the Wall, don't compare it to the Wall. Like, no, not that it was in any way, any should even be in that discussion. I just was like, had to calm myself, like, you know, and be like, don't do that. I'll say this. So we always talk about price and value, and I have no idea what this costs. I didn't look it up or anything like that. I don't know what this runs. I'll tell you this, is a weird thing because like I labored this point about how I don't know enough about wings and whatever else, but for all of the way that this is packaged, I could easily see this being priced at $50, or as we say in Detroit, 50, like easily. And I think if you are a Wings fan, notice I didn't say Wings fan. I think this would be worth every penny of $50. Like I almost, because we received this. She's at the time that you're watching this, we received this like 3 months before, and we spun it once, and then I kind of filed it away, like took care of it and everything, filed it away, and then we went to spin it again. And when I went to spin it again, I kept like out of the outer sleeve, I kept being like, you know, like taking things, and I kept being like, Jesus, there's a lot of stuff in here, you know, but like, I don't think anything in there is like useless. Like I think everything in there is cool and pointed. And again, like the letter and everything. So, you know, I don't know, like if you're a fan at all of this record, I would easily spend $50. Now, having said that, hopefully whomever is watching this, that gave this to us is not like, oh, now I feel bad that I spent $80 on it, you know? Or hopefully Wings fans are not like, you know, like, curse you, that's worth easily $100, you know, but like, I don't know. You and I have sat on this channel and complained about buying single LPs for like $40, right?
Yeah.
I think everything about this, I think would justify a $50 price tag.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And like the thing about it is too, is like, there's so many bands that you can talk about and be like, this is their quintessential album. You know what I mean? Like this is if you're going to have one, this is the one to have. I don't know that I ever would have said, yeah, Venus and Mars, that's the Wings album that you absolutely have to have, but I'm glad we have it. Yeah. It's fun. It's cool. A lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. I like it a great deal, and I'm very, very thankful yet again for it. Yeah, I really, really like the record a lot. I don't want to say more than I thought I would. I didn't have any expectations going in. And for a person who never committed to owning any, Wings material, to me, that's a big, oh yeah, good one. So anyways, we do a vinyl review every Sunday on the channel. We're just doing our own record collection, one record at a time. So we have like, many weeks of records to go through. There's really no rhyme or reason to anything that we're doing on the channel.
Ever.
Yeah, at all, ever. But if you ever have any thoughts on anything we say on the channel, or if you have questions on any of the records or anything, by all means, drop a comment. We'll be happy to help get back to you with any sort of answers we might have on it or anything. If you drop a like on the video, that does help. Or if you share it into, you know, if you like anything we had to say and you want to share it into a vinyl group or a Wings group or Paul McCartney group or whatever else, that helps us out a lot if you share stuff around, and it's free to be able to do that. So we would appreciate that. That's Lauren. My name is Russ. Thanks for watching.